In continuation of its railway modernization drive and to connect all state capitals to railway, the federal government had proposed 80 billion naira for 7 railway projects across the country. The 80 billion naira contained in the 2019 budget proposal presented recently to the National Assembly by the President is for counterparts funds for ongoing and new projects recently approved by President Muhammadu Buhari. Well, let's get a sense of where we are in the railway infrastructure project. And joining us now is the Managing Director, Nigeria Railway Corporation, Engineer Fidet Okeria. Good afternoon. Good morning. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Okeria.
Good morning, Nigeria, and it's good to be with you once more.
Right. So bring us up to speed with the renovation, construction, and reconstruction, and of course, rehabilitation works across the country on the railways.
Yeah, we are in full gear, and things are going as planned. Thank God to the determination of the government and the goodwill and putting government interests above self. So we are making huge progress in the sense that you know that the Kaduna-Abuja is up and running. So we just started the Itakpe-Warri standard gauge, which is about 320 kilometers from Warri to Itakpe. For now, we are just doing it to sensitize the people at no cost. And the Lagos-Ibadan, which is the 18, is coming off stream. About a month ago, we used what we call a rail bus to do about 30 kilometers. A month after, we did 41 kilometers. But I'm telling Nigeria, by tomorrow, we'll be moving from a place called between Ijoko and Kajola to Abeokuta with a set of coaches and locomotives, which is the normal set of to operate trains. And the other things we are doing is to ensure that the Eastern Line, that is Port Harcourt, Maduguri, is consummated as soon as possible. And I think the necessary documentation have just left the Bureau of Public Procurement, and the memo is being sent to the federal government to award that contract. At the same time, we are talking about Kano to Divya and linking Itakpe to Lokoja, then to link it up to the Abuja-Kaduna. The Kaduna-Kano has been awarded, but for consistency's sake, we are saying, okay, because we move goods from the port and to the port. So take it from Lagos to Ibadan, Ibadan to Minna, Minna to Abuja, then Kaduna to Kano. But once the money you mentioned in the budget is the counterpart funding for those projects, and once it's concluded, they are going to be it will be segmented.
How do you plan to channel it? I mean, the fund.
No,
the counterpart fund.
The counterpart funding is that Nigeria have to pay 15%.
Okay.
While the borrowing partner will fund 85%. And the beauty of it all that, so I've heard the fear of Nigerians that maybe when the money comes, they'll be used for different things. That those people borrowing us don't give us cash. The contractor can only access the money when it is confirmed that the job is done and satisfied by the consultant and by the people lending us the money. That is the only time the contractor accesses the money. But we have to pay, before he starts, is that we have to pay the 15% counterpart funding, which is equivalent to what you normally say advance payment. So that's what happened in this type of project. It's an EPC contract, and we've learned from what we have done before that when you segment it, working simultaneously, like the Ibadan Lagos have 4 segments. That's why we have, instead of the 3-year contract, we are talking about 18 months now. So if we have left it the way it was planned earlier, we'll be maybe getting to Ibadan in 3 years. But because the government wanted the infrastructure to deliver as quick as and as soon as possible, because after paying your part, so the contractor will have no excuse to say, okay, I will not be able to complete it. What hinders our progress, like the Kaduna-Abuja, was that when IPCs are raised, that's interim payment certificate, the fund is not there to pay. But the present government said, no, we do not want to tolerate that. Once you have the money, pay the money and ensure that work is fast track. So that is the process we are using and not only just meeting the state capitals, but major industrial production center. When the contract was awarded sometime in 2006 for Obasanjo, the port was not considered. But when the present government came, they ensured that 8 kilometers from the Otemeta junction to the port and about 3.5 kilometers within the port, that's Apapa port, should be added. And we are hoping by the time the Calabar Lagos starts, the T-can will also be captured to link up with the track. Okay. So that's where we are.
Now, in this project, how much of private sector participation is there?
If you mean private sector participation, is that the stations, there's more. A station it is what, like we have abroad, is that we want to expand it. That you have something like hotel, parking lot, place you can host program. You know, like in the US, the Penn Station is where they hold this wrestling and all things. It's a station, it's a train station. So it is easy or easier for the private people to key in there. But if you talk of track, it's expensive. It's quite expensive. There are also other areas like linking the port, and to the private people can come there because we believe it's a money spinner. But linking state capitals and all those is a lot of infrastructure investment that has to go in, and it will take a long time. Not that we are resting on hours. We are still driving to encourage people to invest in rail.
Now, but
it is going to be easier to invest in such facilities that will make the...
So far, we have seen some of the rail tracks, working. How well has this rail system reduced the pressure on the roads in terms of, transportation of goods and services?
It's to the level that we have them. It has reduced the level on roads. But that's why we are driving it to ensure that we're able to go to more places. Once Lagos-Ibadan starts, life will be safer on the Lagos-Ibadan highway as it is now in Kaduna, Abuja. Both the mighty, the low, the medium, and everything has gone back to rail. And you have your peace of mind once you're on the rail. And you can continue to do what you are doing with your laptop once you're on the rail. Like in Kaduna, Abuja, we have just introduced internet on it. And people will see the difference. Now we are happy
but
that
the issue of maintenance is still there. One thing with Nigerians is that we start off something beautiful and then maintaining that.
Okay. For record purposes, we are maintaining Kaduna, Abuja. So we started in 2016. And the standard is still as it was. People have been complimenting us on that. And we hope to keep it on. What makes maintenance is funding. Because you have to provide, like a rolling stock is supposed to be what we call lifted and maintained every year. At every 6 months, there's something you're supposed to do. And at every 3 months, there's something you're supposed to do. But that fund has to be provided for us. Because what we are doing is that we cannot even break even to talk of plugging it back. What we're doing is that we pay for cleaning, we pay for security to ensure that the train is safe. And when it comes to replacement of parts, presently, we are doing that very well and wonderfully, and we hope to keep that standard.
Sure. Now, talking about maintenance, that brings us to the issue of safety. And we know that making rail travel safe definitely depends on a number of factors, which include well-managed tracks. However, the recent derailment in Lagos throws up the possibility that perhaps tracks may not be safe as expected.
You see, if it's who run that fall. The beauty of it is that we had an accident. There was no casualty. And we don't pray. It's not designed to be having accidents. But something happened which the ordinary eye would not know. But we have gone back, investigated it, and we're making sure that such thing doesn't happen.
But were you able to find out what exactly happened, or whatever exactly caused the accident?
What happened at a trailer pulled what we call the guide rail, not the running rail. That guide rail is provided for what we call a level crossing, where the track and road meet. Luckily for us, the government presently insisting there's not going to be level crossing in the modernized track. There's going to either be underpass or overpass. Within Lagos alone, we are talking about 13 bridges. That's within the Lagos area. That's from Apapa to... So to remove such things, so there's not going to be level crossing. At that particular accident, that a trailer came because at that level crossing is at a hill. The rail is higher than the road. I think something fell from the trailer and pulled the guide rail. But people were already... The staff went there and removed that guide rail, which was not supposed to happen, because at every level crossing, the guide rail is to ensure, because most times they are at a level speed. He guide the flange of the wheel not to fall out. That's what happened. I think the technical officer there, the knowledge was limited. Now it has shown us something that we have to go back and make sure that we teach the people the relevance of that guide rail on the bridges and on the rail.
Which people are you talking about now?
The
people
track
on the
maintenance.
streets? Okay, your track maintenance.
Or because it would have, instead of just giving a caution order, they would have stopped the train till it finished the work. But I'm not blaming them, because we don't want to keep the passengers.
Now, how often are your track maintenance there?
Daily.
There is, because there's this general belief that even when faults are detected and perhaps even reported, those concerned are not quick to respond. Is that correct?
As I said last time, the accident doesn't happen just because of track. There are other things that can cause it. So, however, 50% of our trackmen, of our railway workforce, is about the track maintenance, because there's anything wrong with there, because we have to try to have an average of 10 men to 6 kilometers of track, not only just once they run through. That's why otherwise it would have been more disastrous. So they identify it. The problem we are facing these days is that people go on the track and remove rail even. It happened at most time at Enugu. That's why I have not been able to comment our train there. People, they remove what we call the clips.
But why would people do that? You don't have securities checking there. How do you, NRC,
we are talking about,
how do you, check some of those anomalies?
What you do is that you have, that's what I said, you have somebody patrolling. We have what we call patrolmen, and we have what we call rail car or rail bus inspection. It is during that process you discover that people have, but you cannot put men at every kilometer of track. It's not possible. Because if you are talking about 3,505 kilometers of narrow gauge, and now standard gauge is 320, Takpe Warri, 187, Abuja, Lagos, then 164, Apapa. Listen, it's not possible. But we also consider technology, which is not going to, we are weighing various options.
What kind of technology there?
Drawn to the cameras on track, but we know it's not going to be easy or cheap, because sometimes, even our workshop, people go to vandalize our CCTV. So that's the problem we have.
All right. Now, there are also often cases of ticket racketeering, So is the NRC aware of this, and what are you doing about it?
You see, what will stop what people say is ticket racketeering, most especially by the time we started Lagos Ibadan, that story started coming up. Because the train stock we have was not enough to carry the passengers, and some people were trying to get tickets where the seat is filled up, and once they don't get, they believe it's ticket racketeering. The minister has questioned and queried me on that, and I said, how many seats do we have on train? This is what we are supposed to earn, but the earning is more than the seats we are supposed to have on train, which means it's a positive racketeering. Because if you earn, because some people agree to stand and we write for them, which means but to stop that, we are going to go into what we call e-ticketing. And we are at a very advanced stage with IC. Within the next 1 week, they come to railway again and evaluate because we did advert on over 108 private companies bidded, but we have just limited to 3. So the final stage is where we are, so that you can be on your phone, but we have to ensure that it's secured, not only by electronically, but the station too will be secured, so that you can only pass through the authorized gate. to the platform to board the train.
All right, the issue of way lift and maintenance of level crossing is still a bit thorny. Explain the intricacies and how the corporation deals with instances, where the local government authorities, it's not, authorities are not cooperating.
It's good you understood. You are a rail person. You see, normally, our rail system is over 100 years old, and in most cases, it's the road that made the rail. And once a road wants to cross the road, they apply for what we call the way lift. And they are supposed to provide the maintenance every year for it. The person applying is supposed to also pay for providing the flag people, that is the people that control the level crossing, to say if vehicles stop or a train come. But what we have found, ourselves is that most time it's a government establishment, and they finally find it difficult. Local government and state, you ask them, they say they are not aware. We bring our document, they set up a committee, and it's taking a long time. But we cannot leave it like that. So we have to make sure that operating the rail system is safe. So we have to go into maintain the level crossing, which is not supposed to be the case. It's supposed to be maintained by either the state or local government. But since we must operate and we must keep the level crossing passable, we continue to maintain it. That's the situation we find ourselves. All
right, as the man at the helm of affairs of Nigeria Railway Corporation, are there lessons perhaps you may have learned in the course of doing your job and in the course of relating even with other countries? Are there lessons you must have learned in managing the rail infrastructure in Nigeria, like lessons from India, Brazil, and so on?
I joined the Nigerian Railway. Immediately I graduated. I've never worked elsewhere.
Okay.
That is 1987, February. And I've been to many places, US, on training program, China severally, Germany. I've not been to India. Then, you see, as I said earlier, rail is an expensive venture. But it's good for a country to have it, because without it, the commands cannot kickstart. It will just be in one place, matching time. Because if what you are producing and the cost of moving it from one place to the other is higher, it's not going to make sense to people. But when the cost of moving it is at least maybe 15 to 20% to the cost of the product itself, the economy will grow. And all over the world, even in the US, that's the capital of capitalism, have a way that it invests on track. Okay. They give grants, annual grant to personal owners of rail. Otherwise, they would have withdrawn. You say, most time we hear about bailout and all or not. But thank God, we are taking the bull by the horn. And as I said earlier, the minister did not say what is in it for me to do it. So everybody is just putting the people's interest
before, a quick one just before I let you go. What is your outlook, this rail infrastructure development going into 2019? And even now that we have the elections coming, how do you plan to ensure that all these election issues do not affect the projects on ground?
You see, where do we want to go? Do we want to have a good railway? Yes. Is it for the interest of a majority of Nigerians? Yes. Are we on the right path? Yes, because nothing will make an average Nigerian not to support a good a good process. And are the contract being awarded as it's supposed to be done? Yes. So, and is the fund being secured? Yes.
All right.
So we hope that things will go well.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Fidet Okera is the Managing Director, Nigeria Railway Corporation. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll look at the commodities market with a focus on carrots.